we have to discuss Evan Mobley's candidacy for the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year award. There have been about 17% of the votes have been cast, at least publicly. And right now, Mobley is in second place behind Jaren Jackson Jr. on the official ballots that have been cast. However, I know at least one of us on the set believes it's a no-brainer. He should be Defensive Player of the Year, and I know Tyvis may not agree with that. So, Jason or G, would you like to start, either of you, to make a case as to why Evan Mobley should be the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year?
Here's how they do. First of all, let's talk about NBA writers. NBA writers be having the craziest group thing I've ever seen in my life. Y'all, listen, it looked like y'all meet in the secret room and be like, we are only voting for this guy this year. And then the next year, he could have a better year than he did this year. And we're like, no, he won last year. We're only voting for this guy.
You talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo?
No, I'm talking about Jokic getting 3 straight MVPs. That's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Well,
He's not going to win it.
I mean, LeBron could have won it every single year, but we talk about Mobley. Evan Mobley, to me, should be the Defensive Player of the Year because here's one or two reasons. If you're going to say you reward the person who plays and is the most integral part of their team, the Cavs didn't make the playoffs last year. Guess what? They're the number 1 defensive team in a lot of metrics, right? They made the 4 seed, right? They're the top 4 in the Eastern Conference. Evan Mobley is the best defensive player on the best defensive team, and they made a crazy jump. Now, if you look at it, obviously Jaren Jackson, he does his thing. Cool. Memphis Grizzlies, I like the story. But there's a lot of advanced metrics that say that Evan Mobley is the best defensive player. He contends, he shot blocks, he can play off the ball, he can guard 5 positions. He's just dope. And by the way, he's played how many more games than Jaren Jackson? How many more games?
He's played 900 more minutes.
I just like G's slogan, Evan Mobley. He's just dope.
He's just dope. Super dope.
Well, you hit on the last point you made was where I was going to start. Jaren Jackson, I don't have a vote. I lost all my voting privileges when I left the beat. I used to be one of those people you talk about who used to sit in the room and group thing.
Like, hey, Varden, what you got?
No. But I don't have a vote anymore, but if I did, it would be Evan Mobley. Jaren Jackson is off my list just because he hasn't played enough. He's missed too many games. And Brook Lopez is nice, wonderful player, but he can't guard as many positions as Evan can.
No.
Evan can switch out guards. He could guard anybody on the floor. And I think Jarrett Allen's probably going to cannibalize some of Evan's votes, not necessarily people voting for Jarrett, just saying, well, he's got Jarrett next to him. And it's true, and you can't really get around that. Jarrett Allen is a tent pole to what they do defensively. And when Jarrett's not out there, it almost feels like everything sort of deteriorates a little bit. So I think that's going to hurt Evan's chances.
That's where
But if you watch Evan night in and night out, if you watch him play, the body control that he has of being able to alter shots, block shots, and not foul, the way he can position his body, the way he can guard the post, the way he can guard on the perimeter, he's only going to get better. I loved the pick at the time. Before that draft, I'd said, like, Mobley's the guy that they need. That's the piece that they need. They better hope that he's there. He was there. They took him. He's even better than I thought he was going to be, and he's only going to get better. If he can add a three-point shot to his bag consistently, he's going to be an MVP combination, MVP discussion.
If they
down the road.
redrafted it, would Evan Mobley go first overall?
Who was
if they
first
redrafted that NFL draft?
NBA.
It was Kate
NBA.
Cunningham and Jalen Green were the two
I
picks
think
ahead of
Mobley's
him.
probably number 1 pick.
I agree.
I think Mobley's
Hands
one,
down.
and
I haven't
Cunningham's
heard
probably
Cade.
2.
Cade, has he done anything?
He's been hurt.
He had a lot of injuries.
A lot.
And Scotty Barnes, I hated that. He won Rookie of the Year last year. I thought that was a mistake, and
It
Barnes
was.
has not had a good second year. Mobley, to me, is going to be the best player in the draft, and I kind of stumbled over my words, but I believe if he adds a three-point shot and he can make threes consistently, he will be in MVP discussions down the road. That's how good Evan Mobley can be.
That's crazy. Because if he wins Defensive Player of the Year this year, you know what they're going to do, right? He's just always going to be in the
discussion.
He's
He'll be in the
always going to be
discussion.
on the mix.
So,
Draymond's in the conversation still.
Well,
I don't think he's going to win it, but he's in the conversation.
Well, my thing with the Evan Mobley thing is, y'all hit on it, is that he's really good, but everybody knows that when Jarrett Allen's not and he has forced to play center, he doesn't look that well. That's the thing. So what I do respect because it's between him, Brook Lopez, and Jaren Jackson Jr., what I respect about Evan Mobley is that he does guard everybody. He switches on guards. He gets blocks, he gets all that, which if you're going to say a defensive player, you want a guy that can do all the roles. And I think that's the difference that he has over a Brook Lopez and over a Jaren Jackson Jr. However, he's not that great when Jared Allen is not on the floor on defense. I think who is it? Brunson was the one that went crazy on him.
Well,
so that was the.
There was a time they tried to protect him from some of the bigger centers, to your point. They didn't want him going up against. They've sort of released that a little bit, and they're comfortable with him now. But yeah, I mean, he's better. You want a guard playing center. He's not a natural center. I think he should be a 3, but they don't want him guarding threes. They don't want him trying to guard Kevin Durant for an entire game or LeBron for an entire game. Switch onto him for a few possessions, okay, fine. Mm-hmm. Trying to guard him for 35 minutes a night, probably not the greatest. And he's got to develop more of an offensive, deeper range, get to his game to play the 3. But I think we get too hung up on blocks sometimes. Block seems to dictate Defensive Player of the Year.
Well,
sometimes.
But on the steal side, I think Jaren Jackson got more steals than him or something like that. Show me that graphic again, McNuggets, that Mobley versus Jackson stats. Because I think, but the only difference is that Mobley plays more.
Yeah, if Jaren played in 65 games this year,
I look at it
because I'll be right there. That looked like on the defensive side looked like Jaren Jackson.
The advanced metrics, I used to never really pay no attention to especially when it comes to the defenders. But to me, I like to look at how many shots you defend. Like how many contested shots can you get? Because here's the thing, like the difference between guys in the NBA knocking down threes, like some people think if you this close to a guy, that's uncontested. If I'm this close to Jason and I don't like that's money. Like he's hitting that. Yeah. So for him to be able to contest, and the cool thing is he can contest and not even foul. Like so, I think he's gonna. Do you think he'll be? I think he'll be first team all defensive.
Yeah, he'll definitely be first team all defense.
Sure.
There's no question about that.
I mean, and the Cavs haven't had anybody on first team all defense. Have they ever? Like I'm not.
Has LeBron ever been first team?
No, I think he made a second team here or there, but not first team all
Eric
defense.
Snow.
E. Snizzle, shout out to.
I thought in Miami LeBron should have won Defensive Player of the Year and MVP.
Yeah,
he had a couple years where
I know somebody that did do that.
It's happened twice, G. Ron and Larry Nance, by the way.
You want to know who did it?
I'm aware.
Yeah, we're aware of him.
Just wanted to let you know.
We notice he's not on.
Hakeem did it too.
And Michael Jordan did too.
I think Hakeem did it. I know he did.
But
I think Hakeem did it too.
The other guy. I'm talking about the most recent guy.
That'd be Hakeem.
No,
actually.
So what you gonna do, Tyvis?
I think Hakeem did it when Michael was retired.
Giannis Antetokounmpo just did it like 2 years ago, 2 or 3
MVP
years ago.
MVP and Defensive Player of the Year.
You better go look it up.
Yeah, I think he did.
What's wrong with you? Best player in the world.
I thought Michael did it. Michael did it in the 80s, I think.
Yeah, he did.
Giannis just
and
did
it's kind of hard to do it.
Giannis just did it like 2 or 3 years ago.
I remember that.
It's kind of hard to do it as a guard, too.
Was it during the COVID year when
did.
no one was paying attention?
It was the COVID year. When
there you go.
What you talking about? What you talking about is irrelevant.
Now, I do remember that COVID year, they didn't win the championship. I'm confused about that.
Well, yeah, because somebody got hurt. We lost to the Heat because I think Giannis got hurt.
This guy.
Have you been to Milwaukee ever?
You cashing checks now?
Have you been
to the Bucks? You on Jimmy's payroll now? You on the Haslam payroll, cashing checks on the Bucks.
Wait a minute. I have, to be fair, I've said it multiple times. The day Kevin Durant wrote on the Players Tribune that he was going to Golden State was the day I became a Giannis fan. So it's not like I was a bandwagon Giannis.
So you could be in Jimmy's suite when the Bucks play the Cavs next year in
the
conference finals?
If he invites me, he'd be like, hey, you know what? That's the guy that's really good on my pregame and postgame show. And he sometimes hops on the Cleveland Brown radio. Let's bring him on up to the
You know what?
I sure will go.
Here's a little known fact in the black community. We just let people just like follow teams. Like they be like, hey, what's your favorite team? I like LeBron.
That's a fact.
Like, who's your favorite? I'm a Kobe fan. You'd be like, no, I asked you what was your favorite team. No. Listen, I like Giannis. I'm a Giannis dude. Yep. I'm like, okay, I guess. Like, yeah, like we'll root for an individual in a heartbeat. And I used to be confused by that. Because, by the way, there was a lot of Chicago Bulls fans in Cleveland when Mike was really rolling. There was
You
a lot
can't.
of people.
I mean, you can't blame him for that.
Yeah,
My mama was from Chicago, but she was a Bulls fan in Cleveland.
Yeah, a lot of Lakers fans when Kobe was going before LeBron.
There's a lot of Lakers fans. What we got, McNuggets?
So 2 things on the Mobley thing real quick. If you guys haven't listened to – do you guys listen to Bill Simmons' podcast ever by any chance?
Yes.
No.
He had Ryan Russillo on, and they were doing their
I like Ryan Russillo.
NBA awards show, and they both voted for Mobley. And they both have official votes. They both cast for Mobley. And their reasoning – I just thought it was interesting. I want to throw it out there. Against Brook Lopez, he's the 3rd best defender on their team.
Who?
Listen, Brook Lopez is the 3rd best defender on the Bucks.
Who's
Facts.
But who's second? Because I know
Drew Holiday.
Oh, okay.
Drew Holiday
Oh,
and
yeah.
Giannis are both better defenders than
Yeah.
Brook Lopez.
Oh,
So they
yeah.
go, just by nature, I can't vote Brook Lopez as the player of the year defensively when he's not even the best defensive player on his own team.
Got you.
It is remarkable how good he has been, though, given his Brook Lopez.
How old
Fact.
he is?
I mean, him and Robin are the same age. Robin can't move,
Listen, he's
and Brook is doing it's
super facts.
all credit to him. He's having a great year, but I'm not voting for him for defense.
Yeah, it wasn't like crapping on what Brook
No,
done.
I
What
know.
he's done is
I know.
unbelievable. His contest
Yeah.
his contest numbers are second to none. You talk about contesting shots. Lopez is over 11.7 contests per game. I think the next closest is 8.2. But he also is in drop coverage and knows you have Drew Holiday, the best perimeter defender in the league, hounding dudes, and Giannis to clean up
And
everything
he
else.
only averages 7 rebounds a game.
Where does the Bucks not that it matters, but where is the Bucks defensive rank?
2nd or 3rd.
Okay,
One
so
of the
they
two.
right behind the
That's even more. The fact that you got a lockdown defender on the perimeter, a guy that is 7. Brook Lopez having a great year, and Giannis, who's been multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Just once.
Well, okay, one time.
2-time MVP though.
Okay.
I
That's
hate
even
Giannis
more
so much.
miraculous that you got
I was trying to make sure you're correct.
that you got Evan Mobley. We got the biographer ready to go on your man's. Yeah, Evan Mobley, the Cavs is his number 1 defense, and sometimes and he's 12 years old. That's crazy. He's 13.
Evan, yeah, Evan.
I don't think Evan Mobley can drink right now, can he?
I think he just turned 21. Yeah, he's 21. Simmons and Russillo's case against Jaren Jackson Jr., by the way, is what Jason said. He played 63 games and only averaged 28 minutes in those 63 games. He played literally 1,000 less minutes than Evan Mobley, who played in 79 games, played 35 minutes a game. And even though his block numbers and his block rate numbers are historically good in this modern-day era, he averaged the most fouls per game in the NBA, too. So when he was playing, he contested everything. He got a lot of blocks, got a lot of fouls, wasn't as overall valuable.
And he
And
played
that
in
is
the
why
Western
they
Conference.
both gave their vote to Evan Mobley as their
do that.
defensive player of the
He played
year.
in the Western Conference, bro. Ain't nobody over there. And on top of it, he don't play more than Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert averages 30-some odd minutes. He don't play more than 6 man.
Jeez.
Nah, we can't give you that. Listen, go ahead and warm the trophy. But here's the thing. We just talked about how we thought he gonna get it. What's the chances he actually gets it, Jason?
Mobley?
Yeah.
Listen.
50. I think 50.
They robbed him on the Rookie of the Year. Come on now. They can't rob him 2 years in a row.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, they can.
They can, but
they-
I hope they
45. I say 45.
I got it.
So you think Brook Lopez actually gets it?
No, I think
No,
Jaren
I think
Jackson.
Jaren Jackson's
I
most
got
likely going to win it.
At first, if you say it quickly enough, you'd almost sound like you saying Janet Jackson. Jaren Jackson. See, look, it kind of sounds like it, but I got it at 40%. It might be 40% that they're gonna give it to him.
What
They'll
made
give
you think of that?
They'll give it to Janet. Yeah.
Jared Jack.
Hey,
Anyway,
right. You're right.
I am right.